At the height of the gold rush, Rick Ness was one of the most successful miners. He lost his mind when a rookie mechanic fixed his $1 million excavator. A little boy did fix his $1 million machine. We will look at the details and ups and downs of Rick Ness's mining operations in this video. We will see how the seasons changed, how technology broke down, and how driven Ness was to find rare gold. Come with us as we look at the exciting shows, with a focus on how Rick Ness's never-ending search for wealth in the hard desert changes, succeeds, and fails. In his never-ending search for money, Rick finds himself traveling into uncharted territory because he thinks he has found his most important goal yet. His huge machine for moving dirt is gone, and his team is getting smaller. The odds are against him. When Rick realizes how serious the situation is and posts that a skilled mechanic is needed right away, it's a turning point. Now, a 20-year-old student becomes an important figure because he is asked to show off his skills by building the complex, multi-million-dollar 750 backhoe. The apprentice carefully attaches the bucket and 750 book stick, showing how complicated the job is. They were moved safely by a movable base set to a small gauge. The thought of having to deal with Duncan Creek's various terrain adds another level of difficulty. Torsten, the apprentice, changes the tracks expertly by slowly loosening the bolts that hold the chassis in place. He cleverly positions the digger with the help of the boom, showing how creative the team is when things go wrong. The 750's bucket is particularly impressive because it is so big. It's 3 times bigger than the 480's. Time is important for Rick and his team because they work in less than a half week. Their staff is only 4 people, and they don't have a fixed driver. Rick's earlier success, in which he made an average of just over 70 ounces of gold per week, is very different from this situation. The problems that are coming up show how strong, flexible, and determined the team is as they keep going after their huge gold goal. The group is aware that Carl, the gold miner, is not there and stresses how important he is to fixing machine problems. They both hope Carl gets better and are worried about taking care of the equipment's upkeep without a trained tech. Most people agree that Torsten's ability to put together the 750 digger was a turning point that made the mining business a lot better. At this time of year, it's hard for Rick to find a plumber, so he's thankful that Torsten helped him right away. As the team gathers for the weekly gold weigh, Rick talks about the effects of having a smaller staff and the need for a worker to fix problems with the pumps. Even with all of these problems, the crew stays friends, and they raise a glass to the amazing gold crop that only 4 crew members, including the new Torsten, were able to handle. The story shows how flexible, determined, and flexible the crew was in getting past problems so they could reach their gold mining goals. The team is still dealing with the problems of the season. They are looking ahead with a mix of determination and confidence as the successful end of the gold weight has given them hope. And yet, none of these problems affect Rick in any way. In fact, they might even be a good thing. We can see that Brennan has a hard time because he can't find any good land. He doesn't care and takes a wild guess as to where a new cut should be made. Almost magically, the chosen area is cleaned up and fully open in a matter of seconds. When people find possible gold in a test pan, they decide to call the new site the Bacon Strip. During the gold rush, there is a tense moment when the parking brake on a rock truck gets caught on a pile of pay dirt. Even though the rescue is shown with dramatic music and quick cuts, the story makes fun of the fact that, to everyone's surprise, no one dies. The episode ends with a smooth cleanup that yields a respectable 75.92 ounces of gold. But things change in the gold rush game when Rick's team goes through a number of staff changes. Riley is the rock truck driver he gets right away after losing the first one. A slightly inflated story about a rock truck losing a tire shows how the crew reacted to what turned out to be a pretty small problem. The following day takes a surprising turn when Riley, the new driver, suddenly disappears. The crowd gets to see Rick's girlfriend learn how to drive a rock truck after she offers to take over. As a joke, the announcer calls this part of the show the perfect blend of boredom and boredom. Rick finds another 47 ounces of gold just as cleanup time is about to start. This brings his season total to 502 ounces. When Riley comes back the next day, he has a huge scar across his face. And the story continues. He gives an account that includes a fight, a trip to the hospital, and having his phone taken away by the police. Even though things didn't go as planned, Rick is glad to have Riley back with the team. The crew's original happiness and excitement quickly faded when they realized there was a major problem. There was a sudden wave of fear among the team, because that's when they found out there was a crack between the plant and the pre-wash that opened up without warning and let water out, which is very bad for the mining operation. Figuring out why there is warning is easy once the two 9-inch steel pins that were joining them are found to be missing. But even though this is a worrying development, no one seems to care. The crew makes 2 new pins to fix the problem. As the team tries to get past the hurdles, more problems come up because rocks can pass through the holes in the screen deck. In an effort to save the situation, they glue steel plates over the holes. It's too bad that the cleanup only turns up 40.64 ounces of gold. At this point, everyone is upset about how limited their current wash plant is. Strangely, there was no reason for why Rick wasn't using Monster Red, the wash plant he had worked hard to fix up over the off-season. The mining team has to make some tough choices that are getting more and more interesting as time goes on. Now though, Rick seems to have forgotten how much work he put into Monster Red over the winter when Freddie and Juan show up to fix his wash plant. It takes 4 days, but they quickly put in the new punch plates Rick bought, even though they are a bit too thin. Surprisingly, Freddie and Juan are able to solve the problem without any problems at all with a little help from Chris. As Freddie and Juan work on the repair, the story moves smoothly and shows off their skill and knowledge. The lack of excitement in this method is very different from the problems that happen in the gold mine business. After 1 day of work, everything is fixed without any major issues. The team cleans up the campfire and finds 17.27 ounces of gold. When Rick wakes up the next morning, his bacon strip shows that there is no pay dirt. It's brave of him to decide to go back to the deep cut even though no gold was found there last year. He has a strong feeling that all the gold in the cut might be concentrated under his access road, and that feeling is very important. As they look into the deep dig, they quickly find 2 rocks, which is seen as a good sign that there is a lot of gold there. Then something strange happens. The cut is supposed to start filling with groundwater, even though everything else is dry, until Rick breaks a berm on purpose and floods the area. Additionally, they make things more difficult by using a pump to remove water from the dry area to smooth things out. Even though the digging process was hard, 126.86 ounces of gold were found after everything was cleaned up. Good luck, Rick. Your season total now stands at 687.68 ounces, showing that you have the toughness and adaptability needed to work in the volatile world of gold mine. But things get interesting when Rick puts Brennan on the Rally Valley night shift. During the first night shift, a rock truck breaks down, but it is fixed well. Brennan has to peel the next night, which is called Glacier Till. Foreman Brennan is promoted by Rick the next day after a short break in the story. People are left thinking about the possible interesting things that were said but not done during Brennan's night shift and promotion, since the recap jokes about leaving out the more interesting parts. The story is now following Rick as he digs deeper into Rally Valley. Something strange happens when he hits a bed of rocks and blocks 30 feet earlier than planned, but when he brings in more than $600,000. Now, Rick's business runs for less than 2 weeks with only 4 employees and no dedicated mechanic, which is very different from last year's average of just over 70 ounces per week. The difficulties bring out the team's ability to change and keep going. The story then moves on to Rick's cleanup, where he gets 3 times as much gold as before, up from 1 ounce per hour. The crew is happy about the success and points out the big steps forward that have been made. As the team finishes up and thanks each other for their work, the friendship stays strong. The gold keeps coming out. Mitch's hard work pays off, and Chris does a nice job that adds to the overall success. The scene moves to Parker's team at Big Red, where everyone is happy about their accomplishments. More than $4 million has been put into Mud Mountain to get to its rich prizes, which is making people more excited. Big Red has never had a better week than this one, with a gold reveal that adds up to 596.6 ounces worth over $1 million. There are many problems, successes, and trades in the story, which gives a full picture of the hard world of gold mine. Scenes flow smoothly into the next, showing the highs and lows of the business before a successful gold weigh-in that makes money. The scene moves to Parker's team at Big Red, where everyone is happy about their accomplishments. More than $4 million has been put into Mud Mountain to get to its rich prizes, which is making people more excited. Big Red has never had a better week than this one, with a gold reveal that adds up to 596.6 ounces, worth over $1 million. There are many problems, successes, and trades in the story, which gives a full picture of the hard world of gold mine. Scenes flow smoothly into the next, showing the highs and lows of the business before a successful gold weigh-in that makes money. Rick Ness only needs 300 more gold ounces to reach his season goal. However, as winter comes, Rick needs to get another 550 ounces to reach his 2,000-ounce goal. The group turns their attention to Monster Red and buys a strong pump to deal with the water problems in cold weather. The story shows how determined, creative, and persistent they were in the unpredictable world of gold digging. The snow on the steep land above Keno in late September is a sign that winter has come early. The once bustling wash plant, which is an important part of getting gold out of the ground, is now dormant under its winter coat, representing the problems caused by the changing environment. Rick takes a moment to think about the big chances he took when he started digging gold by himself. This shows how determined he has been over the years. In his third season away from the Kundik, Rick is almost at Keno's big gold find. He put down a big deposit to make sure that his claims are taken care of. But there is still a big problem to solve. He needs another 550 ounces to hit his lofty 2,000-ounce goal. The mining season is almost over. The story then moves on easily to the mine site, where Rick is solving a puzzle about water. Last week, Rocky, his second wash plant, helped him get the biggest gold weigh-in ever. Still, the coming frost is always a worry, and work has to be done all the time to keep the water flowing. The fact that Rocky has decided to shut down shows a shift in strategy, with more focus on Monster Red and a stronger push to reach the season's gold goal. Rick is having a hard time with the water problem while it is snowing outside, which shows how the process is always affected by weather below freezing. He is honest about the problems they've had and stresses how important it is to have a pump to stop the groundwater from coming in all the time. Even though they face problems and setbacks, the group stays motivated to find the money that is hidden beneath the waves. Rick and the rest of the team face the water problem head-on to find a solution. The discovery of a strong 10-inch pump is a turning point, but it comes at a high cost that shows the unexpected costs that come with the gold rush. As things stand, they perfectly show the spirit of teamwork and determination that is needed to overcome unexpected problems in the never-ending search for gold wealth. As the strong pump is used to show that it can move a lot of water, the story keeps going in a clever way. The combined efforts of the team to get the pump going show the dedication and teamwork needed to deal with the unpredictable nature of gold mine. Even though there are problems, costs that weren't expected, and ongoing problems with the weather, Rick is still set about the gold output. The results that could be seen, the gold that was recovered, and the hope for future success show how determined and clever Rick and his team were in figuring out how the unpredictable gold mining business worked. As our look into the fascinating world of Gold Rush and Rick Ness's gold mine tries comes to a close, we have seen how luck can change quickly in harsh terrain and as the seasons change all the time. Rick's journey has been an emotional roller coaster of highs and lows, persistence, and finally success, from managing falls in the cut to dealing with early winter storms. The rough conditions of the mining season have shown off the pristine beauty of Alaska's wildness and the strong will of the people who go there in search of money. Rick's changes to his plans and the thrill of finding gold at the last minute have shown how unpredictable gold mining can be. We are shocked by the problems that were solved and the wealth that were found as we say goodbye to the drama, thrill, and excitement that make up Rick Ness's search for gold. In these thrilling and difficult episodes, the superheroic and warrior-like qualities of Tony Beets, a gold miner, and the Winchester crew, who are able to survive the challenge of recovering their most recent machinery, are brought to the forefront. In the event that their excavator stops functioning owing to chain problems, what strategies will Winchester crew employ to deal with the situation? As a result of this circumstance, how will they get the end that they want? Let's join Tony Beets and the Winchester crew in their pursuit of gold and dive headfirst into the extremely fascinating endeavors that they are involved in. During his search for gold in Paradise Hill, the horsepower will bring out the excavator while it is on the sturdy reinforced ramp. Within the plan, they discover a glimmer of optimism. In spite of the fact that the idea appears to be fantastic, it turns out to be quite challenging to implement due to the enormous amount of dirty water. Tony assumes control of the D6 dozer and starts the process of removing the water from the area. As it should have been, it starts to demonstrate the progress that has been made. On the other side, Mike begins to add coarse tailing to the pit, and it proves to be really beneficial for them. Even if the severe rain in Paradise Hills slows down the process of gold hunting, Tony is still optimistic that he will be able to harvest more gold out of the 80 pup cut, because it has proven to be quite fertile in terms of producing gold. Tony and his family are currently seated at the dinner table, which is located in their regular location. He laughs at Mike's suggestion that he should be held accountable for allowing their excavator to become submerged in the muck because he has been driving the excavator without paying attention to the directions. It appears that he is pleased to be able to release the tension in a span of 2 to 3 hours. Despite the fact that Tony claims that the success is the result of his engineering and wisdom, Mike says that it is relatively simple to retrieve the excavator. Tony laughs as he makes this assertion. In the meantime, Mike is weighing the gold that he has acquired by pouring it into the tray. Tony requires 300 ounces of gold in order to maintain the functioning of their family system. As soon as Mike starts pouring gold out of the jar, the entire family immediately focuses their attention on the scale, and they start reading it out loud. Almost immediately, the readout goes beyond 300 and to 500 ounces, which is significantly higher than what they had anticipated. The entire amount of gold that they acquire is 4,601 ounces, and they receive 500 ounces of gold that is worth $850,000. As a result of their excursion that took place in extremely severe weather conditions, they consider it to be exceptional. Jason Fraser, another mining boss, has arrived to Tony Beat's Hunker Cut along with his Winchester crew. This is occurring on the opposite side of the fence. They have been in Yukon for the first time, and they are getting close to the end of their first season there. After the toil associated with a lengthy summer season, they are so eager to get back to their homes. Therefore, in order for them to continue living freely, all that is required of them is 200 ounces of gold to pay their landlords. They are optimistic that they will achieve their ultimate outcome, which is to acquire approximately 200 ounces of gold. Tony gives his blessing to the proposal because he will profit 30% from it. As of right now, they have already reached 106 ounces, and the entire cut has been thoroughly investigated. The truck that John Van Tuyl is driving to the Winchester is equipped with a double-barrel wash plant that he has constructed at his home. He is holding the steering wheel. Over the course of the season, it has been functioning fairly well, and he is still holding out hope that it will continue to function in the same manner. As the third member of their skeleton crew, Butch, who was formerly employed as a logger, goes through the process of becoming an excavator operator. He goes from being a novice to being deeply appreciative. In the midst of his announcement that he is on the final thread of 10,000 yards, the excavator suddenly hits a setback. In the course of its operation, the chain of the excavator breaks. Following his descent from the excavator, he makes a beeline for Jason in order to convey the news that the trammel has ceased functioning. Upon Jason's arrival, they investigate the situation and discover that the chain that is dangling down the excavator is the cause of the machine's inability to function properly. They discover that the chain has been severed from the master link, which is responsible for holding the entire chain together. If the master link has become inoperable, the Winchester weapon system will be unable to spin its twin barrel wash system. They have arrived at the conclusion that in order to avoid any delays in their work, they need to locate an additional master link to the chain. They search through a large bag of links and correctly identify the one that can be of assistance in the event that it is needed. However, John instructs Butch to attach the master link that is broken. He requests that he activate the TRL by turning the black button on the opposite side of the device to the opposite position. Subsequently, he requests that he let it go slowly while holding it. After that, he instructs him to move his hand slightly, since he does not want to cause his hand to get more compressed. Immediately after he raises his hand, the chain is unable to reach its wheel and they are forced to halt it for a period of time. They give it another go in an effort to recreate the procedure, and this time, they are able to make some further headway. During this time, Jason arrives at the location with the master link and climbs up the ladder in order to execute an assault on the chain. Finally, the Winchester crew succeeds in continuing their mining operation after the hard 2 hours of labor with the chain. They have a limited amount of time to meet their objective of 200 ounces, which is still 94 ounces short. Winter is just about to set in, and they have that time as a premium. When it comes to machinery, Jason laughs at the fact that they, like people, do not enjoy working during the winter months. Having returned to Tony's residence, he is currently seated alongside his woman. They have positioned themselves in the surrounding sediment, gravel, and rocks using a combination of water, gravity, and mechanical methods. First, raw material, a mixture of dirt, gravel, and rocks, is fed into the wash plant. This can be achieved using a variety of methods, such as conveyor belts or loaders, to ensure a consistent flow of material for processing. As the raw material reaches the wash plant, it passes through a critical sorting and classification process. Screens or grizzly bars are used to properly categorize particles based on their size. This step is necessary to prepare the material for further processing. The wash plant's ability lies in its capacity to break down raw materials through a washing process. Water, a key component in this step, is used to break down the substance into smaller particles. This procedure is critical in separating precious minerals, particularly gold, from the surrounding rock and dirt. Following the washing process, the material is transferred to sluice boxes or jigs, which are critical components of the wash plant's operations. Sluice boxes use the flow of water to catch and concentrate larger particles, such as gold, allowing lighter elements to wash away. Alternatively, jigs involve pulsating water flow to separate particles according to density. Gold miners use different types of wash plants to extract gold from dirt. These wash plants vary in size and complexity based on the specific needs of the mining operation. The choice of a wash plant depends on factors like the size of the mining project, the characteristics of the gold deposit, and the availability of resources. In shows like Gold Rush, which depict the reality of gold mining, the wash plant becomes a central element. It showcases the miners' strategic decisions and their investment in advanced technology. For instance, Parker Schnabel, a prominent figure in the series, is known for seeking cutting-edge wash plant solutions. This reflects a dedication to improving operational efficiency and maximizing the recovery of gold in his mining activities. But don't get your hopes high. During the inaugural run of Roxana, Parker Schnabel's new wash plant, the crew encountered unforeseen issues that necessitated swift amendments. As the plant processed its initial load of pay dirt, issues like electrical problems and water hose malfunctions arose. Parker remained calm and collected, showcasing his ability to address challenges as they happened. The debut of Roxanne became a testing ground for the team's adaptability and problem-solving skills. Despite the setbacks, Parker's leadership shone through, emphasizing the importance of making real-time adjustments for optimal performance. Refining how Roxanne operates became a crucial part of the plan, highlighting the importance of making sure the wash plant performs at its best. The team rushed Season 14, applauding Parker Schnabel's passion and envisioning a bright future filled with golden possibilities. For those of you who are the new fans and followers of everyone's favorite Gold Rush, Parker Schnabel is a well-known figure in the reality TV series Gold Rush, which follows the struggles and adventures of gold miners in search of money. Parker was born on July 22, 1994, in Haines, Alaska, and is well known for his ambitious and tenacious approach to gold mining. His participation in the Gold Rush began as a teenager, when he joined the family business run by his grandfather, John Schnabel. Parker grew from an amateur miner to a seasoned and successful gold digger during the series. Parker is known for his analytical and strategic thinking, and he has demonstrated leadership abilities while directing mining operations in difficult terrain. His remarkable accomplishments include setting the record for the youngest miner to produce 1,000 ounces of gold in a single season. In the world of Gold Rush, Parker Schnabel's role goes beyond the mere pursuit of gold. It's about tackling the challenges that come with mining, dealing with the unpredictable nature of the industry, and facing crucial decisions head-on. Viewers are drawn not just to the glimmer of gold, but to Parker's unwavering determination, strong work ethic, and his ability to adapt to whatever the mining world throws at him. His character stands out, making him a central and beloved figure in the show. Whether it's overcoming technical obstacles or uncovering significant gold deposits, Parker Schnabel continues to be a driving force in the evolving narrative of the Gold Rush. Getting more into the details of the Gold Rush, as we talked about at the start, Parker signed a jaw-dropping $15 million check, securing Dominion Creek. It's a vast, untapped expanse that holds the promise of 80,000 ounces of gold, a potential $160 million jackpot. And this new wash plant is a crucial part in discovering the creek. But everything comes up with its own challenges. Now, the big surprise is that the gold in Dominion Creek is really deep, like 40 feet deep. That means Parker Schnabel has to spend even more money to dig it all up. It's a massive decision for him because he's throwing down a whopping $15 million for this untapped gold mine. This isn't just a regular choice, it's a tough situation where he has to weigh the possibility of hitting it big against the risk of losing a ton of money. So, Schnabel is at a crossroads, facing a challenging dilemma that could either bring him incredible success or a serious financial setback. In a recent interview with People, Schnabel shared a candid moment, expressing that they were at a crucial crossroads, debating whether to take on more significant risks by investing a substantial amount in new ground or opt for downsizing. The interview delves into the decision-making process, emphasizing the weight of such choices in the context of gold mining. Schnabel openly discusses the internal struggle, recognizing the profound impact on his team, who depend on him for their livelihoods. His straightforward account provides a glimpse into the complexities and challenges faced by gold miners, adding a compelling layer to the gold rush narrative. Parker Schnabel, the experienced gold miner, openly discusses the internal struggle he faced in a recent interview. He emphasizes his priority of keeping his crew intact over downsizing, acknowledging the challenges of maintaining a successful business. Schnabel highlights the importance of generating significant revenue, emphasizing the need for both ample ground and gold ounces to support their substantial operation. The fear of disrupting a well-established crew adds a personal touch to Schnabel's pursuit of gold, underscoring the high stakes involved in his ambitious endeavors. As Parker Schnabel ventures into the challenges of this significant investment, a pivotal question arises: was Dominion Creek truly worth the